So today, difficult subject, mortality. Mortality comes from the original sin, the breaking of the world. So we start in Genesis 3. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken, for dust you are, and dust you will return. Ugh. Heavy. Interestingly enough, and we'll probably touch on this a few times, it is mortality that draws people to God. The day that people give up hope in eternity is the day that we truly know Jesus is returning. The fact that we live in a nation that professes to be Christian, even though many do not follow Christ, and if asked, all hope, or the majority, the vast majority, hope for an afterlife, demonstrates that we're all looking to live beyond. Eternity is set in our hearts. And that recognition of eternity, that recognition of a desire to live beyond this, is not only in our hearts, it's in the hearts of all of those that God has placed for us to minister to. Requires action, but it also is drawing us back. We look at Riker, we see his energy, his innocence, and we remember a time when we enjoyed summer vacation. Do you remember summer vacation? But even at that moment, when we were old enough to enjoy summer vacation, what did we dread? Going back to school. That was the first time that we were introduced to mortality. That summer was going to end. And probably got to the end of July and we're like, we're more than halfway through summer. And you could start feeling that dread. But now we are all grown up, most of us. And I can tell you that same attitude spoils my vacations. Because I'm like, wow, I'll have a whole week. And you look forward to that whole week of nothing to do. And then you get halfway through and you're like, I can't believe it's already. And that comes from this recognition that we are on the clock and time is running out. Then you transpose that to those of us who are living in the second half of our lives, and it gets even more heavy, more burdensome. So let's take a look, because that's where we find our friend in Ecclesiastes. Meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Tell me how you really feel. What do people gain from all the labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back where it rises. I said to Dinesh just this last week that while I was away in England, the days crawled. I had one task primarily, it was my entire schedule, and I was looking for other things to do, and so that one task and that small life that God called me to live meant that weeks took forever to get through, and months even longer, and being told that I would be remaining for 3 months felt a tremendous burden. I've been back for 3 months now, and it's been a blink. And now I complain to Dinesh, it's going too fast. Friday is coming in. Slow this thing down, Lord. I want to enjoy my time, and I want to enjoy the people that are in my life. And that's the exact same thing that the author of Ecclesiastes witnessed, right? We get to the age and it's like, slow it down. Generations are coming, generations are going, and it's just moving too fast. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the stream come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. We become much more introspective as we age, and we recognize, wow, a lot of the things I've put my hands to, a lot of the things that I've pursued, a lot of the things outside of my relationship with God that have captured my heart, my attention, had no purpose. What's the answer? In Ecclesiastes 3:11, he has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. We began this subject because we recognize the world is still seeking the meaning of life. And the reason the world is seeking the meaning of life is because God has set eternity in our hearts. Amen. We want something greater, we just don't know how to get there. Until God draws us in and tells us exactly the recipe. Focus all your attention on me and use the relationships that I've blessed you with as the workshop to minister to others. All of a sudden, all of the things that we called toil and laborsome and not worth our time are interactions. So, he puts eternity on our hearts. He puts eternity on that doctor's heart who comes up with fanciful ways of speaking of I'm going to meet my grandparents again. I'm going to meet my favorite uncle again. All of those things you will hear people that don't believe in Jesus espousing, through media, through the movies we watch. All of those things are core beliefs in our nation. And yet, when you ask them, do you believe in Jesus? Do you follow Jesus? No, I don't have time for all that. In 3:11 or in 12, I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in their toil. This is the gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, nothing can be taken from it. God does it so that people will fear him. Amen. Which is the drawing back to him. It is Palm Sunday. It's the day we celebrate Jesus' move towards the cross as he enters Jerusalem for the last time. We know that he has a tremendous burden set upon him. And we know that we celebrate Easter, as we will next Sunday, because that burden has been lifted by the acts that Jesus is willing to walk through in order for us to know salvation. So I think it's appropriate that we turn to the last time he is ministering to his disciples as a reminder of the hope that Jesus plants in all of our hearts. Amen. That we are now eternal as God is eternal because Jesus has saved us. Amen. We no longer have to face off against death. We no longer have to fear. because God has prepared a place for us. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God. Believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going. Isn't that the word that we need? Isn't that the peace that God is trying to impress upon Warren and all of us today? Is the activity that God has placed on our hands is a blessing. It is how we remember who God is. Every time we say, I can't handle this, isn't every time that we should next say, but you can, Lord. I am overwhelmed. I am tired. I am sick. But I've got you, Lord.